Wow, breaking news, friends! Our lawmakers in the Senate have just passed a bill to avoid a possible government shutdown in just a few days. However, friends, many provisions were removed from the legislation in order for the bill to advance through the Senate with both parties' support. Millions of Americans are very upset at these new adjustments that have just been made. Also, it has been confirmed that a one-time direct deposit of $1,050 will arrive for millions of Americans starting next week. This is important information on stimulus and inflation relief payments. So friends, make sure you watch until the end of this video. Also, I will be giving away 4 $75 Walmart gift cards every week. Please enter the giveaways by clicking and liking several of my videos, and also commenting below the keyword of each video that you watch. The more videos that you comment on, the greater your chances of winning these giveaways. And friends, in a video later today, I will be announcing a winner. So please stay tuned for that video.
Who've worked so hard to make our country more accessible and more just. Jill and I just wanted to host this celebration for 2 reasons. First, to celebrate Americans with Disabilities Act that our dear friend Tom Harkin of Iowa helped write and passed 32 years ago. And I was honored to be a co-sponsor. I take no credit for putting together. Tom did all the heavy lifting, but I knew then how important it was. And members of both parties pressed through it through 2 administrations, led by a dear friend of mine and many of us, the Republican leader Bob Dole. And under President George H.W. Bush, signed into law one of our most important civil rights laws ever. You know, it's hard for younger generations to imagine a world without the ADA. I mean, it's just impossible. I'll not mention his name. I shouldn't go off script here, but not mention his name. But I remember one of the things that got me in real trouble one day as a young senator. I'd only been there a month and a half. There was a senator standing up on the floor of the Senate excoriating Bob Dole and Teddy Kennedy for a precursor for this legislation, saying, "Why should you confiscate my money to put in a curb cut? Why should I have to pay for it, etc.?" And you know, it really is something that you all, though even those of you who are not here, who are here that are not disabled, you feel in your gut. You know, there's just sort of basic decency and fairness. And you know, and remember the days when none of you are old enough here, but remember the days when if you were disabled, stores would turn you away.
Here is some big breaking news in Congress. Senate just advanced a short-term government funding bill after Joe Manchin conceded defeat on his push to combine the funding fix with his energy permitting package. The funding bill, which will keep the government running through December 16th, easily earned the 60 votes necessary to clear a procedural hurdle during a vote. 72 senators supported moving forward with the proposal, and for several weeks, Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer has been carefully balancing his promise to Senator Manchin to include Senator Manchin's permitting change proposal on a must-pass bill before the fiscal year ends on September 30th. Despite a growing coalition of members on both sides of the aisle vowing to block any short-term funding bill that included Senator Manchin's changes, Chuck Schumer gave assurances to Senator Manchin in order to secure the West Virginia Democrats' essential support for the party's major social spending bill and tax bill this summer, the Inflation Reduction Act. In a statement just half an hour before the Senate was set to vote down a short-term funding bill that included permitting changes, Joe Manchin announced that he had requested Chuck Schumer remove his language from the bill. Chuck Schumer, in floor remarks moments later, said he would advance a short-term funding bill without Joe Manchin's proposal. Chuck Schumer stated, "Senate Republicans have made clear they will block legislation to fund the government if it includes bipartisan permitting reform, because they've chosen to obstruct instead of work in a bipartisan way to achieve something they've long claimed they want to do." Republicans were largely united in their intention to block a funding bill that included Joe Manchin's permitting language. But Republicans were not the only ones working to block the funding bill when it included Senator Manchin's language. Vermont Senator Bernie Sanders had vowed to vote against it too, citing concerns about the adverse environmental impact that speeding up permitting projects for non-renewable energies could have. So friends, do you think that our senators will ever come to an agreement on this bill? Please let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Friends, the keyword for this video is Albuquerque, New Mexico. If you would like to enter today's Walmart gift card giveaway, please click and like several of my videos and then comment below this keyword, which is Albuquerque, New Mexico, and additional keywords of any video of mine that you watch. And do make sure, friends, that you are subscribed to my channel. Very soon, the state of California plans to begin issuing the middle class tax refund directly to residents' bank accounts and mailboxes. The Franchise Tax Board said that the first batch of direct payments, also called inflation relief checks, is set to go out on October 7th. Since the plan to send millions of Californians payments is up to $1,050 was announced months ago, the state agency has been fielding questions from eager residents who could really use the extra money. But the state says if you've met all the requirements, the best thing to do is just wait. You have to be a California resident, have filed your 2020 taxes on time in California, and fall under the income limits in order to qualify. According to state officials, the more money you made in 2020, the smaller your inflation relief payment will be. Even if your situation has changed substantially since 2020 and you make less money than you did back then, your payment will still be based on your income from 2 years ago. That is required by the law passed creating the tax rebate, and contacting the Franchise Tax Board will not change anything. But friends, if you do not see a direct deposit hit your bank account on October 7th, please do not panic. The payments are going to be issued in waves. The first group of people to receive the middle class tax refund will be for Californians who got the Golden State stimulus payments via direct deposit. Those payments will be issued to bank accounts between October 7th and October 25th. The rest of the direct deposits will be sent out between October 28th and November 14th. Well, my amazing friends, that is the end of my daily stimulus update video for this morning. Thank you, friends, for joining me here every day when I post a video. I greatly appreciate every single one of you. Please stay tuned because in a video later today, I'll be announcing a winner for the Walmart gift card giveaway. Remember to enter the keywords in the comment section below and do stay tuned for that video. Thank you, everyone, and have a wonderful and blessed morning.
Employees could refuse to hire you. Employers could refuse to hire you. If you used a wheelchair, there was no required accommodation to take a bus, as mentioned already, or a train, or to school or to work. Americans simply wasn't built for all Americans. But we changed that. And now, for 1 in 4 Americans living with disability in America, we changed the law. You know, it's the key to equality, opportunity, and independence. Tammy and Jim have both said they wouldn't be where they were today without the ADA. They've made speeches about that. It matters. For our country, the ADA is a testament to the character of our people, to the country. It's proof we can work together and keep moving closer to realizing the promise of America for all Americans, for all Americans. And it's proof of the power of our example, an American law that is a global model inspiring 180 other nations to pass similar disability laws. And folks, the ADA advocate Jim Dart, who was often recognized as the godfather who wrote the ADA in 1990, the ADA, he said, wrote in 1990 about the ADA, he said, the ADA is only the beginning. It's not a solution. It's an essential foundation on which solutions will be constructed. From day one, my administration has been building on the ADA foundation. My Labor Department is protecting the rights of workers with disabilities and fighting to end unjust sub-minimum wages. That's critical. when today disabled Americans are still 3 times less likely than others to be employed and often earn less for the same work that's being done by others. We're also creating a new job by helping state and local governments, employers, and nonprofits tap federal funds to hire more disabled Americans. Our infrastructure law makes the biggest investment ever in accessible transit, updating subways, trains, and airports. It expands access to high-speed internet, a lifeline for people with disabilities to work, to study, to stay connected. And I know COVID-19 is hitting the disabilities community especially hard. The pain, the isolation, the separation, the toll on the mental and physical health of all people, of the community, the loss of life. And on this day, we remember those lives lost. And we thank everyone who is still, we think of them all, those who are still hurting, those who are still struggling, including those living with long COVID. That's why throughout the pandemic, we've focused on increasing access to health care to get us through this darkest of times. The American Rescue Plan provided $25 billion to states to expand home and community-based services under Medicaid. So more people can live, who have disabilities, can live independently at their home. We've delivered vaccines, masks, tests, therapeutics directly to people in their neighborhoods. We've mobilized whole of government effort to advance our understanding of long COVID and accelerate progress in prevention, diagnosis, and treatment. And I continue to call on Congress to provide the resources we need to deal with COVID across the board. We followed up with the Inflation Reduction Act, one of the most significant laws in our history, one that will lower the cost of prescription drugs, health care, energy, and to make sure the biggest corporations begin to pay their fair share in taxes. There's more we're doing. There's more we're doing to advance disability rights across the board, from increasing access to the ballot box to promoting equity and inclusion around the world. All this is important progress. But the second reason we wanted to host this reception is to acknowledge a movement that's not just about disability rights, but also about disability pride. It's about recognizing disability isn't something broken to be fixed. For millions of Americans, their disability is a source of identity and power. Disability pride is about every American's equal right to be recognized for who they are. It's about celebrating the progress we've made and the future ahead. And one of the reasons I'm so optimistic about our future is because of our young people. They're the most gifted, best educated, talented, and accepting generation in our history. And joining us today is one of the generation's brightest lights. I'm going to turn it back to Jill to introduce them, but God bless you all and may God protect our troops. Jilly, the floor is yours.